Welcome to today's show. As you can tell, I am actually solo today. Shane Smith is not with us. Shane is taking care of some other things, which actually brings me to the topic and the conversation I want to have with you guys today. Because at the end of the day, the show must go on, i.e., will you do what you say you're going to do, is even when things are not perfect. So at the time we're recording this, and really the time you guys are receiving this, we've got massive storms coming across the East Coast, which is dumping feet of snow and just pure chaos, which is kind of funny to me. Not the snow part and not obviously how hard that's been, but the fact that where I live, we get feet of snow all the time, and we are actually having record lows where we're not actually getting hardly any snow. Literally into history, our snowpack is the worst that it's ever been. And then over on the East Coast, they are literally breaking every record possible for how much snow. So I think the snowstorm actually went over there and was supposed to go here. But point being, when we were supposed to record today's show, Shane was in the middle of dealing with all that. And because he was dealing with all that, it was like, well, what do we do? What do we do? Right? And I want to start off today's quick conversation on our show today on what do you do when things are not perfect? What do you do when you've created a plan, you've created an idea of here's what we're going to do, and then something happens, right? Something outside of your control happens that derails you. Because this happens every single day inside your firm. Every single day. There's not a time, there's not a moment that goes by that life doesn't come at you, whether it's from clients, whether it's from the marketplace, whether it's from your employees, whether it's from the weather, right? Of literal snow coming at you, whatever it is, it's going to happen no matter what. So that's the one guarantee. It's like I was talking to my son today. My son's just starting school, and he was complaining about how, dealing with the financial department and just some problems they were having there. And he's like, I just can't wait till I take this taken care of so I can get this going forward. And I just laughed at him and I said, hey, buddy, guess what? I got some bad news for you. And he just looks at me and he's like, it's going to happen again. I'm like, bro, it's never going to stop. It might change. The details of the problems you're facing are going to change and shift and adjust your whole life, but they will never go away. So you better get used to it. So at 23 years old, I'm like, dude, you better learn this, son, because if you don't, you're going to be disappointed, and you're also going to have a very hard time executing and actually getting the results that you want, because it almost never goes as planned. Right? The plan that you create is the plan you create, but what's actually going to happen from that, it doesn't ever actually create anything, right? You never actually end up following that plan if you stick to the plan only, because the plan will get derailed. And if you don't know how to turn, pivot, adjust when conditions are not perfect and ideal, you're never going to actually achieve and accomplish what you want to accomplish. So today's conversation is a real simple one. What do you do when life throws at you a curveball? How do you adjust, right? I want you to take a quick assessment. Take a quick look into your firm right now. When was the last time that everything went perfectly as planned? Okay, you shouldn't have to think very long, because you're not going to be able to find a time where that happened for most of you. The rest of you, you're just lying. So it actually has never happened for you. You're just lying and you can't see it. So maybe you do need to take a couple minutes and actually think about it. But for everybody else, what I want you to see is that there's an adjustment. So now here's what I really want you to think about. Knowing that it's never going to go as planned, I want you to think back to the last time you got a phone call, maybe from your paralegal, maybe from an associate, maybe from a client, came at you and it derailed your plan, right? It derailed what you had going on. And then I want you to think, how committed were you to the results of the situation? Right? Meaning, did that plan, or did that conversation, did the phone call, did the whatever kind of threw a wrench into your situation, did that derail you, or were you able to adjust, pivot, and move around the obstacle and still continue towards the target, right? The target of this show was obviously that we recorded a show. So in lieu of Shane and I both being on today's show, this is the first solo show that we're running, which is great. I do a lot of solo stuff, so I'm fine to do it. But when we get into that, well, this is why it's a little bit different. This is why you don't have Shane on the call today, because we adjusted and pivoted, but we still were stuck to, and we were committed to the result that we said, which is, hey, we are a weekly podcast, and we're going to drop this podcast to try to create value for all of you attorneys out there who listen to the show, and we're going to try and do it every single week. Not try, we are. We're committed to it. Now, what will it look a little different? Yeah, it's going to look a little different, right? Is it always going to be, the best podcast we've ever done? No. Are there times that maybe I'm tired? Yeah. How about Shane's tired? Yeah. Right? All of this is a part of the game. And what I'm really getting at is how committed are you to the results in your life? Right? We talk, obviously, all about your firm, your law firm. How committed are you to actually growing and developing? Right? I had a conversation with one of my clients today, and he runs a fairly large firm, and the conversation was very simple. Do you actually want to solve this problem? Because you're looking at the problem, and you have to make a decision. Do you really want to solve it? Because here's the work it's going to take, at least what we can assume is going to take to fix this problem. Or are you okay with the problem? Will you at least be honest enough to acknowledge that this is the problem that I'm facing, and I'm going to continue to face it because I'm not willing to do the work required to do something about it? What an interesting question. You might be hearing that, you'd be like, why would someone want to stick inside their problem? Well, it takes a lot of effort sometimes, and sometimes you have to be honest. Are you actually willing to do the work required to go after the effort that you want? Right? And there's so many different ways you could take this, but when you look at your firm, and really our big message here at the Legal Edge is like, if you're stuck and you want to scale, you have to determine that, hey, number one, 100%, I'm not just interested in scaling. I don't just really even want to scale. I am ruthlessly committed to scaling. Because unless you're ruthlessly committed to it, as soon as the weather doesn't show up the way you want it, that will give you the excuse to stop. That will give you the excuse to take a left turn and go back to the way things were and say something as stupid as what I hear of, well, I tried, it just didn't work for me. Or I tried, it just wasn't my time. Right? I had somebody come on board with me, and they're working with me for just a short window, and after 90 days, he says to me, I guess it just wasn't my time. And he was serious. And I didn't even know what to say to him. And so I was like, yeah, I guess not. And he quit, and he walked away, and he gave up on a career. What's so interesting is every other associate who worked for me at that same time frame, who pushed through the darkness that we were all facing, right? We were having a bit of a marketing problem, and I was doing my best to figure it out. But we did. We figured it out. He was already long gone, but every other associate that worked for me made $250,000 a year plus. But him, it just wasn't his time. So he left, he moved, he went back to where he was, and he just chose this other path, right? Chose to go a different direction. Now, he's not a bad guy, but it's very obvious he was not committed to the result. He was not committed to, no matter what, come hell or high water, I'm ruthlessly committed to this. So you have to establish, number one, that's where you are. That you actually are that committed. You will do whatever it takes. People say that all the time. It's very flippant. I'll do whatever it takes. And then you watch them in tactical action. Bullshit, you will. You never do whatever it takes. Half the time, you only do it if it's convenient or nice. And here's what I'll tell you. If you can't push through the days that don't work and push through the days where the storm will come and it will derail your plan, if you can't push through those days, guess what? You won't even smell success. You won't even be close enough to it to smell it. And you'll just say those stupid excuses. And you'll find every valid reason around you. And you will surround yourself with losers who will justify, and they will support you, and they will help you feel better about choosing to lose. Right? I might be the first person in the world that's ever spoken to you this direct and this real, but here's what I want you to see. There are thousands and thousands of attorneys. Here's a hard shot to the ego. You're a dime a dozen, my friend. Oh, shit. There's nothing special about you. Half of y'all probably should just click off this podcast right now because you're like, this guy's a dick. Why would he say such a thing? Here's what I want you to consider. Those ultra-successful attorneys, those ultra-successful law firms, guess what? They're not special either. And what they did is they did what very few will do, which is they actually made the ruthless commitment to scale and grow. No matter what. They actually meant it when they said, I will do what's required. So you got to establish that first. Establish that you are ruthlessly committed to the result. And then you can actually start to identify, where are you lacking? Where are the storms in your life coming at you? Sometimes from the left, sometimes from the right, sometimes from underneath, on top. Sometimes they're coming from every direction at the same time, it seems like. When you know you've burnt the ships and you will not go back, then there's only one way to go, which is forward, which means you must face the problems in front of you, and you must aggressively go after them, and you must find solutions constantly moving forward, regardless of how hard it is, regardless of how it doesn't work, regardless of how you can't figure it out. Right? Some of you guys, it's flat out. And from a lot of conversations I have with a lot of people that book on our calls, that get on our deep dive conversations, you lack skills. Flat out. You might be a great attorney, but where you lack the skills is in business. How to actually run a business. How to create a culture inside of your law firm so that as you grow, you don't just create a culture of people that are going the wrong direction or people that have a mindset that you don't actually agree with. But then it becomes this, three-headed monster, and you don't know what to do. And your skill sets are less than. You have less skill sets than you need. So some of you guys got to get better, right? Some of you need to put yourself in environments where you learn how to be a business owner, right? Because business is business. I don't care if you're selling clients on the legal field. I don't care if you're selling clients on a car. I don't care if you're selling clients a cell phone. It does not matter. You're selling something. Right, and there's a process at which you create a business around that system. And it comes to these systems, process, and routines we talk about. And these are the things that will help you weather the storms of your life, weather the times when things aren't working quite the way you want them to. And if you will continue and stay consistent and push forward and execute, well, guess what, my friend? You've got a shot. You've got a shot. Here's the cool thing about success. Success is not complicated. It's just not. I know everybody wants to make it complicated. You might be sitting there in the pit of your existence right now as an attorney, feeling like the world is crumbling down around you and you don't know what to do. And the reality is, if you just keep going and you follow a proven map and a process, you will win. You will win. Right, this is one of the things I love doing here with Shane, because Shane has built last year, 2025, 22.5 million, 23 million, something like that. Right, and if you don't have a law firm that big, guess what? Guess what? It's possible, because there was a time not too many years ago Shane didn't either. And what I love doing is the fact that we literally dissected his firm and said, how did you do it? And then we put the whole legal edge together. That's why we created it. Because it wasn't from theory. What we're talking about, what we do with clients is not a theory thing. It's literally, hey, follow the map. Follow this process is going to get you where you actually want to go. But the number one thing to overcome, I don't care what kind of map I give you. I could give you the greatest map in the world that literally is step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this. If you're not committed to the target and the result, you won't get there. You've got to find out. And not everyone should go after this. Not all of you listening today should even listen to what I'm saying. Because you won't succeed. And I'll be the first one to tell you won't succeed in the conversations. There's been plenty of deep dive conversations that I get real with guys, and I'm just like, listen, this probably isn't for you. What you would be better to do is to actually go get a job for somebody like Shane. Go get a job as an associate. Go make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year and be happy with that lifestyle. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. You haven't failed, you haven't quit, but you don't have it. You don't have it. If I have to motivate you, if you have to sit and be motivated to do the hard work, to do the boring work, to do the work of repetition that is what is required in this game of business, if you have to be motivated or talked into it, most likely you don't have it. And people don't like to hear that. It's kind of cool to be a business owner. It's like, I own my own firm. Good for you. Most of you guys own firm. What you've done is you've created a job for yourself. That's all you did. You just created your own job. You actually work more hours, you have more stress, and you're making less money than you would if you just went and worked for somebody else. But for those elite few, for those of you that I'm talking to, you hear me right now, you know what I'm talking about, and you are very clear. You are very clear that that's you. You are the guy that's committed. You are the gal that's committed. You're like, I'm going to build this. I'm going to become the king or the queen of my market. I'm going to make sure everybody knows my name. I'm going to build this to a place where I'm going to help the most people. I'm going to have the greatest impact on the people that I come in contact with. For those of you who are in that camp, oh, my friend, it is a glorious place to be. Because when you're there and you push and you break through these invisible ceilings that you create for yourself, man, once you have broken I'm super pumped. We haven't really announced it yet. But Shane and I we both co-authored a book called The Invisible Ceiling, and it is launching soon. So stay tuned. You're going to get access to be able to get a copy of that. We're just going to have you cover the shipping and handling costs on the book itself. We want to get this into your hands, but we dive in deep into this invisible ceiling that all of you alphas out there, all of you guys and girls who are like, I'm going, I'm the one. Right? You know you're the one. You don't have to be convinced you're the one. I don't have to sit here and motivate you. You don't have to go to a seminar to be motivated. Those of you, man, we've got the map. Right? We've got the thought process and the mindset and the tactics that need to exist in order for you to pull it off. And then it's as simple as just doing the work. That's the fun part. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle. I don't actually like putting puzzles together, like a puzzle like on my desk or whatever. That's not what I'm into. But what I can tell you I am 100% into is building the puzzles of businesses, especially law firms, right? Taking every single element, each department, each person is a different piece of the puzzle, and how to fit those together and create puzzle pieces that will fit together to ultimately build you to the version of you that you've seen in your dreams only, right? Whatever it is that you want, everybody sees a different vision, but if the growth and the vision is to scale and to grow, it's a fun place to be, but it starts here. What happens when the storms of your life come? Do you pivot? Do you stay committed to the target? Or do you quit? And you got to take a cold, hard action look. And that's what I want each of you to do. I really want you to give a self-assessment right now. When that happens, don't just say what would happen. Look back in your firm. When that happened, the most recent time it happened, what did you do? How'd you show up? How was that for you? What did you create? Did you quit? Did you pretend it wasn't there? Did you just keep trudging forward and not actually make any moves or pivots to deal with it? What did you do? Right? And when you identify that thing, what I want you to do is I want you to just think about what's one little thing you could do different. What's one thing that you could do today? At the time you're listening to this show, right now, whenever you're listening, whether you listen when we launched or you listen a day or two later, what can you do? What's that one little thing, one little action that you can take that will make the last 20 minutes with me inside today's show a productive use of your time to actually springboard you forward? So that's all I got for you today. I'm excited. As you can tell, I get fired up about this conversation. If you want to get into a one-on-one conversation with me, all you got to do is very simple. Head over to LegalEdgeCoaching.com and click on the little button there, and there's a button that will allow you to schedule a call with me. Get on my calendar. You've got an application you need to fill out to see if you're actually qualified to have this conversation, because I don't just talk with any attorney. Not that I don't want to and don't think you're great, but my time is very limited, and I'm looking for law firm owners doing at least $3 million a year who are looking to grow and scale. And this call, we'll spend 60 to 90 minutes together, deep dive into you, into your firm, helping you see where are you currently stuck, what invisible ceilings are sitting there in front of you right now, and what are some action items. We'll give you about a 90-day action plan going out of that call that you can go execute and implement on that will literally transform the direction of your firm. So appreciate you guys being listeners of the show. If you've got value from today's show, do us a favor, share this show up with someone else, anyone else you know that will get value from the Legal Edge and from what we're talking about in today's conversation about weathering the storms. And always, if you liked it, give us a like, give us a subscribe, right? And help us grow the show. This show grows organically. We are doing this show to create value and to be able to help other attorneys just like you. So do us a favor. We're not asking you for any money. We just are asking for you to contribute by sharing this show with somebody else. So that's all I got for you. Appreciate you guys. Shane will be back with me next week. Next week, it'll be Shane and I as we continue down the 10-part series of how to break the invisible ceiling. So stick around. We'll see you next week. Have a fantastic rest of your day. This is Trevor White. I'm out.